Hi there, my name's Nick, and in this short video I'm going to tell you how I came to be doing an Apprentice Nurse Associate course and how I'm getting on with it. So I work for a large NHS trust in the south of England as a Band 3 HCA, and I started this approximately 15 months ago with very limited prior clinical or medical experience. In my interview for the HCA role and from when I first started, I was very clear to my line manager that I wanted to develop and that I thought I'd want to do a nursing qualification before too long. Happily, my line manager was very supportive of this, but made it clear that practically it was going to be down to me to find out about the apprenticeship and to make it happen. And if I'd been waiting for other people to do this for me, I'd still be waiting. I used the Trust Internet to find out more about the apprenticeship's options. I had looked into doing a full-time degree but decided I couldn't afford it, so apprenticeships seemed the best way forward. There are two options available in my trust: a 3-year nurse apprenticeship or a 2-year nurse associate apprenticeship. There are pros and cons to both of these, but I decided to opt for the nurse associate apprenticeship because it's only a 2-year commitment, and at the end of the 2 years you have a foundation science degree, half of a BSc basically. Nurse associate is a registered profession, you get a PIN, you operate at Band 4, and if you want you can do a top up to get the full degree, which gives registered nurse status in Band 5. How long the top up takes and how soon you can do it seems to vary a lot. One of the things I really liked about the nurse associate option was that I would spend most of my 2 years at my base placement. I will still do 4 6-week placements elsewhere, but for the 2 years I'll mostly be working with my team, which is great because I like my team, I really like the work that we do, and I know I can learn a huge amount from my colleagues. My 4 placements will cover adult nursing, paediatric nursing, mental health and learning disability environments, and these will all be arranged by university. I wouldn't say I badgered the Trust apprenticeship team, but I certainly kept in regular touch with them, asking any sign of when the apprenticeships will open, any word of the timescales, etc. And it's just as well that I did that, because on one occasion when I emailed, they came back to say, oh yeah, they opened last week, here's the link. There'd been no publicity about this at all, and if I hadn't been actively pursuing it, I might never have found out that they were open. The initial application process was very straightforward and only involved a track application form. But one thing that's worth being aware of when it comes to NHS job applications generally is that although there will be a closing date specified on the advert, quite often there's a proviso that says applications may close earlier depending on the volume of applicants. So get in early. Don't think, oh, I've got 3 weeks to apply it, because you might find when you go to apply that it's been closed early. Anyway, after 2 or 3 weeks I got an email to say yes, I'd been shortlisted for a place on the Apprentice Nurse Associate programme, and that I would be sent details of the universities that would be an option for me to attend and details of their application process. I was given 3 options for university, 2 local and the Open University. I wasn't keen on Open University because I wanted to learn alongside other students, and I wanted the structure that goes with attending university regularly rather than the much more self-directed approach that goes with the OU. I would have been happy to go with either of the 2 local universities, and my choice came down to which one had the soonest intake. One only had a September intake, the other only had February intake. The university application process was quite a bit more rigorous and involved a 500-word personal statement on why I thought I would make a good nurse associate, and attending the university for a half day that included an interview, a group task with other students, a group interview and a numeracy assessment. The numeracy assessment isn't a pass-fail criteria for acceptance onto the course. It was for the uni to find out how much support students might need with the numeracy element of the course, which isn't great, but there is some of it. All of this went well. I was offered a place and I started about 3 months ago. Successfully completing the apprenticeship is very heavily dependent upon you demonstrating evidence of learning that you have done on the job during the course of your apprenticeship, and this requires completing a practice assessment document or PAD, typically electronic these days, of all the new learning you have done. There are 2,300 hours of learning that need to be evidenced across the 2 years, and that comprises 1,150 hours of practical learning and the same of theoretical learning. When I was getting close to starting the programme, I was discussing this with my line manager and said that one of my concerns was how I'd manage to achieve the protected learning hours. I work 30 hours a week, which is the minimum acceptable to be accepted onto any apprenticeship, and I do 1 8-hour shift and 2 12-hour shifts. Since I started the apprenticeship, my 8-hour shift has become my university day, and this will continue for all of the 2 years except when university is on holiday. That leaves me with two 12-hour shifts to work as normal and to evidence my protected learning time, which has to be new learning. Doing your day-to-day role doesn't count. My line manager's solution, which is absolutely fantastic, is that on my two 12-hour long shifts, I've been allocated as supernumerary for 4 hours on each shift so that I have time to do my protected learning. This can be theoretical material such as looking up conditions, or can be practical learning such as going out with the nurses or other colleagues and doing things that I haven't done before that are new to me. I'm lucky to be incredibly well supported by my line manager and the nurses in the team I work with, who've been great at taking me out with them to do things or arranging for me to go out with other parts of the organisation. But I know this isn't the case for all of the people in my course. Some of them are having a very different experience and have been given hardly any support. This is another of those areas where you have to take control, be assertive, and make the case for the support that you need. And it's worth remembering that your employer will have signed a contract with the university to say that they will make the time available for you to do your learning, so make sure you are getting what you're entitled to. My university has said that if necessary, they will step in to resolve any situations that arise around this and make sure employers are meeting their commitments to the apprentices. So 3 months in, we've just finished our first module, and I have to say it's been quite intense. We started with anatomy and physiology, and it felt like we're doing a biology degree in the space of about 6 weeks. Huge amount of information to be taken on board, which has been quite challenging, but also enjoyable. And I can see the relevance of it. All told, I'm really glad that I'm doing the Nurse Associate Apprenticeship. I think it's an absolutely incredible way to get a degree. It doesn't cost you anything, you get paid to do it, and you get a huge amount of practical learning from it. Much more so, I think, than if you were doing a full-time degree at university. One thing that's worth mentioning is that for my apprenticeship, I was given a new fixed 2-year contract that finishes when I finish my apprenticeship. I'll be unemployed then. However, I'm confident that there's likely to be a Band 4 role in my team and that I'll be considered for it, but I also know there's lots of Band 4 roles available throughout the trust that I work for, and a quick look at NHS jobs shows that there are plenty of opportunities out there, so I'm not anxious about this at all. In fact, I see it almost as a bonus that at the end of the apprenticeship I'm free to choose where I want to go. So that's it. That's my story of how I came to be doing a Nurse Associate Apprenticeship and how I'm getting on with it. Thank you very much to the Nurses.co.uk team for the opportunity to do this video, and thank you for watching.